Well, I think we've already touched on some of that because that's where it's going to start. Just like the Constitution of Louisiana is the foundation of our lawmaking authority, and it's the very heart of how we beat. So we've added so many amendments and so many different things over time. We've diluted what that document is supposed to be. So, without actually, I'm not in that position right now to say that this is what I can do, but I'm telling you what I want to do. I would love to strip it down to its bare necessities again and look at it and reprioritize everything that we do. I mean, there's some things that are necessary and they've been amended for a particular reason. But there's some things that have been amended. Every time they do an amendment, they throw all this pork barrel stuff on the back end to where they're not only doing what they want to do, but they got all this extra junk being towed on that wagon. That needs to change. What I also propose to do is whenever legislature puts in the law, we need to have an intent of the law statement that gives into our Supreme Court on every bit of legislation that comes through. And I don't care. I don't want to give an attorney the opportunity to take it and misconstrue what the intent of that law is. Attorneys make plenty money interpreting the way laws are read. So with the intent of the law, our Supreme Court can say, look, I understand this doesn't address that particular issue, but the intent of the law specifically states this is what this law is for. You can't pick that loophole and find a way out of this thing. We have to be held, and that goes back to accountability. We always try to blame somebody else for something. We need to be accountable, and we need to hold each other accountable. So, when you go back to the constitutional amendments and you go back to stripping the Constitution, reprioritizing everything that Constitution is protecting without touching the core value of what it is, we need to look at the amendments, and we really need to restructure the entire thing, because I say entire thing, not the entire thing, but the peripherals that are out there needs to be changed, because right now we're allocating money to things that are non-essential. There are things that could be great. In our household, if we got extra money, we go on a luxurious vacation. We may go to Madrid, Spain. We may go to, Paris, France, spend a month. But when you don't have a lot of money, you go to the Gulf Coast and, you eat a hot dog instead of a filet mignon. So it's the same thing. The problem is this within government. We put our budget on the best year that we've ever had, instead of focusing it on the smallest year we've ever had. In business, they tell you set your budget on a worst-case scenario, then everything above that is profit for the business, so it helps you put it back into it to help it grow. Government needs to be run in the same fashion. We can't overspend what we have. We can't base our budget on our best year. We need to base it on our worst year. And then if we've got a great year, then everybody gets a great refund, because it is our money. I mean, it only makes sense when you need to look at it from a perspective of what does this mean, what does it have to do, and have your priorities set, even if it's through restructuring that constitutional amendments to make sure that these funds are spent where they're supposed to be. Education needs to be the primary thing in that Constitution, where every year we get this funded. We need to stop these double-digit increases in tuition. We're making it to where the poor children cannot go to school, even if they got great grades. The TOPS program is at a threat. It doesn't produce enough money for these kids to go to school. We need to change the way that we look at this thing. We have to make education a priority, and we need to do it through constitutional change.